Yes, welcome back. We're probably nearly out of time.
Yeah.
Been a massive month.
I can't believe it.
Probably a massive year.
Yes.
Really, if you go back and look at the underdogs that have won this year in sport.
Leicester City,
Leicester
EPL
City.
last year,
Yep.
unbelievable result.
Yep.
Adelaide United lost their first 8 games,
Yep.
won a championship here in front of 50,000 Adelaide Oval.
Yep.
Bulldogs, 67-1 4 weeks ago, win. Cronulla, haven't won for 50 years, win. Imagine if you had an all-up bet for $1. I wouldn't be here.
You know what it goes to show you in sport, though, sometimes? We will sack the coaches or we'll blame a lot of people after a loss. Every now and then, that's the beauty of sport, is there's the surprise. I think the Bulldogs fairy tale for us, because we follow the footy, is probably one of the greatest stories we'll see.
So.
And at the end, Luke Beveridge, of course, gets Bob Murphy up on the stage.
Oh,
Now,
what a great
295 games.
Yes.
He's done his knee now. I've spoken with several of the players that have played on grand final day and said without question, without Murphy there in the change rooms leading up to the finals, at every training session dealing with the younger players, legitimately they believed he was the spiritual leader. Without him, they believed they would not have won. So not only does he deserve it on his career with the Bulldogs, but they saw him as pivotal in what he'd done in the final. Now, Luke Beveridge is about to get an award at the Australian Sports Hall of Fame for the spirit of sport, and they don't just give those away, which is fantastic. The AFL don't agree with striking another medal for Luke Beveridge. Should they or shouldn't they?
Well, they should, because the evidence is there that the general community support it, that Luke Beveridge is being recognised for an award, as you highlighted. So the AFL are actually probably offended that they didn't think of it first and are now backed themselves into a bit of a corner. Look, I think it probably highlights another area, and that is that I think there should be a premiership medal for those performing on the day, and there should be a medal for all people who are part of that club, because we spoke to Marty Matner. It's not just the 22 that play on the day. You use players during the course of the year that have contributed to that premiership, and then should assistant coaches get one? Well, yeah, of course. This is all about creating a reward for the club, not just the 22 and the coach that are there on the day.
So is that a club initiative or an AFL initiative?
Oh, look, it should be an AFL initiative, really, but if it's not, the club should give a medal, strike something themselves. This is a premiership year for our club. And guess what? We may have to wait another 50 or 60 years. A lot of careers are started and finished. A lot of lives of supporters have started and finished in that time waiting. They should be recognised as a whole.
All right. Brad Gotch signed on again with South Adelaide.
Yeah, great result.
Signature.
Yeah, it is too. He's an AFL coach in an SANFL environment. He's got what it takes.
All right. Now, this is a tricky one. We haven't really got enough time to discuss it. But Michelle Jenke, now, I don't know if you remember Michelle. She was the 19-year-old girl that did the little swiggle.
How could I forget? Yeah, sorry.
And suddenly, a few years later, is catapulted as the face of Coca-Cola for the Rio Olympics.
Yeah.
Finishes 6th in her
Bit
heat,
disappointing,
so 1.5 seconds outside her personal best. Now, she's just been dropped by Athletics Australia for the high performance funding that they provide, saying that the coach Craig Hilliard said she turned up out of shape for Rio, and so she doesn't warrant this sort of funding. Now, my question is, I'm defending Michelle a little bit. I don't know her, haven't spoken with her, but suddenly as a 19-year-old, you're catapulted onto the world stage. Now you've got Coca-Cola, one of the biggest companies in the world, using you as a major sponsor, and they'd be demanding a lot. They're not just going, here's a lot of money for a photo, that you've got to do a lot of promotions. Is she getting the right advice around her as a young kid to say, don't let this affect your training?
Well,
do not let this affect your training.
I've always thought the Australian athletic model is not broken, but it's not quite right. And if you look over the journey, whether it's Ayana Pittman or Sally Pearson, there seems to be these issues, and it's very much an individual sport, even though they've tried to make it representing the team. You are in it for yourself. There is nowhere to hide on that big stage. Look, I'm not sure what the answer is. I know in fact, Australia's standards are very, very high to get into the team, but I'm not sure once you're qualified, because there is no excuse for an athlete not turning up in the condition they should be. But who's responsible for that? Sure, the athlete. But who's mentoring that athlete in the way through? I guess that's your question. Who's mentoring them? And if she's doing that, they're not being mentored well.
All right, well done to the Sturt supporters too. They got out to Adelaide Oval. Big crowd out there for the grand final. Well done to Matty, of course, and it's Marty in his first year. Time for us to go. Hope you've enjoyed the show, everybody. Look forward to your company next week.